I'm Dr. Orion Taraban, and this is Psych Hacks, Better Living Through Psychology. And the topic of today's short talk is to be free, you cannot do whatever you want. Now, there's a little asterisk next to this one, which I'll explain at the end of the episode. But in the vast majority of cases, it's true that to be free, you cannot do whatever you want. The best way to understand this is by looking at the natural universe. There are many, many examples of this principle, but here's one. Consider the Earth as it travels around the sun in its annual revolution. It has been freely moving around the sun in an unobstructed fashion for billions of years. That is some pretty legitimate free motion. However, it's only able to persist in this freedom because it is restricted in its orbit. If the Earth were to move further from the sun, then its orbit would become so elongated that it would be slingshot into space and would likely be consumed by a gas giant. And if the Earth were to move closer to the sun, then the gravitational pull would be too great and it would spiral into a solar collision. If the Earth were to exercise freedom of movement arbitrarily, it would soon no longer be free to move, as it would be destroyed. It can only persist in freedom if it restricts itself to move in alignment with the greater system in which it is a part. A freedom today that isn't a freedom tomorrow isn't really freedom. Do you understand? Freedom is only true freedom if, in choosing it, you can persist in being free. Freedom that cannot persist in itself is, by definition, subject to a more powerful force. In choosing that course of action, you are choosing subjection to the more powerful force. This is not freedom, this is destruction in slow motion. So, what does this mean? This means that if we want to continue to enjoy freedom in our lives, free motion, free will, free choice, we have to make choices that align ourselves with that which allows that freedom to continue to exist. To return to my previous metaphor, we have to find the right orbit. And most choices will not do that. Most choices will tend to limit our freedom and move us toward destruction over time because they're just not sustainable. You want to eat whatever you want. You can, but that's not really sustainable. You'll run into health problems, and sooner or later, you won't be free to eat anything. You want to do whatever you want in society. You can, but that's not really sustainable. You'll run into legal problems, and sooner or later, you won't be free to do anything in society. You want to spend money however you want. You can, but it's not really sustainable. You'll run into financial problems, and sooner or later, you won't be free to spend any money. Okay, however, there's one exception to all this, the asterisk that I mentioned at the beginning of the episode. The only way you can remain free by doing whatever you want is if you succeed in disciplining your wanting to such a degree that you only want that which will allow you to continue to be free. I'll say that again. The only way you can remain free by doing whatever you want is if you succeed in disciplining your wanting to such a degree that you only want that which will allow you to continue to be free. If you can do that, then you're free to want whatever you want in perfect safety. And if you can, please reach out because I'd like to study under you. The vast majority of us, myself included, are just not there yet. So it's important to discipline our wanting and to be prudent about how we exercise our freedoms today so that we can continue to exercise our freedoms tomorrow. What do you think? Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for the algorithm. And please see the About tab for more information on donations and consultations. Thanks for listening.